Yeah, despite the all clear from officials here that the water is safe to drink, people are not buying it. They say we need independent testing of their homes, their water, their properties. One of the foremost experts in chemical spills testing was here in town today testing. We caught up with him, and what he says may not be of comfort to the residents here in East Palestine.
We're going to measure also vinyl chloride, ethyl hexyl acrylate, isobutylene, and butyl acetates.
Independent environmental scientist and chemical spills expert Stephen Petty is on the ground in East Palestine today testing air, water, and soil for residents skeptical of the government giving them the all clear.
They're measuring something that doesn't tell you a lot about the individual chemicals. It's done because it's easy and quick to do. Doesn't cost a lot of money.
Petty has been an expert witness in dozens of the top environmental class action lawsuits in the U.S. He says he came to Ohio because he believes independent testing is needed.
The question is, are there organic compounds at low levels that are toxic that are a problem? We don't know the answer to that.
For residents worried about their health and the mixed messages from local and federal government, an independent expert's opinion is welcome.
The public can handle negative news. They just want the truth. It's not wrong to tell them we don't know yet.
Do you think they're getting the truth here?
I don't think they've done enough. I think that they're being told too many positive things given the uncertainties. I don't know what's in the railroad's mind's eye. I mean, I don't know what's in their heads. But from what I've seen on some of the initial testing, they haven't necessarily tested for all the things I think we should be testing for, like the dioxins.
And they're not testing for those?
To my knowledge, they hadn't.
Hello, and thank you so much for being here with us on this Friday afternoon. I'm Katie Houston. It has been a busy 3 weeks since that fiery and toxic train derailment in East Palestine. And a law firm is now on the ground there right now doing some independent testing on the air, soil, and water. They want to identify any toxins they can help to give some relief to families upended by the train derailment there earlier this month. News 5 investigator Tara Morgan, you've been out there so often. Tara, you spoke with the attorney heading up this class action lawsuit, and they're testing experts. So do they have a threshold for the kinds of chemicals?
They are going all out and testing for many of the chemicals that leak from the derailed train that private labs can't test for. New pictures from a law firm going after Norfolk Southern with a class action lawsuit. This is their testing expert sampling soil and water for a suite of chemicals.
The big issue is I think it's premature to say everything's fine.
At each site, taking between 7 and 30 samples.
I'm looking for waters where things deposited in them, right? So I've done ponds, ditches, bird baths, buckets of water, and then we have sampled well and drinking water.
Stephen Petty owns engineering and expert services in Florida and was hired by Simmons Hanley Conroy. He says he's done a number of railroad cases with different chemicals and has been on the ground in East Palestine since Monday.
Try to be complete as we can, and you have to be a little clever to try to figure out where this stuff was and what to analyze for.
Petty says he's not limited to what private labs can only do. He's testing for vinyl chloride and more.
I realized early on that from the literature, one of the byproducts of burning vinyl chloride is dioxins. So I suggested that the firm sample for those.
Attorney Jane Conroy has been meeting with homeowners, renters, and business owners, walking them through how a class action like this works, the types of investigation and evidence collecting they do. She says people are frightened.
The fear for their children, for their loved ones. What are these toxins going to do?
Conroy says they can't change their psyche, but hopefully will get them money along with accountability and change.
We need to get some sunshine on this issue and these and the running of this railroad through East Palestine and anywhere else in the country where there are these trains going through backyards.
And the independent tester hopes to get in the rail yard next week to get samples from the cars. On the test he's doing this week, he expects them back in 10 days. The firm met with East Palestine families Tuesday and plans to meet with more families tonight in Pennsylvania. I'm News 5 investigator Tara Morgan.
I wanted to have you come out so we could hear you a little better. You're down in there doing the samples, and you're with again
EES Group. On behalf of, I'm working for Simmons Hanley Conroy.
Now I can still smell that sweet.
It's got a sweet, odd odor.
Yeah. The videos that we've seen before, they were actually further downstream. Senator J.D. Vance did the first one I've seen, but we're right in town.
Right. The Main Street is like on the other side there. Been testing different materials for 30 years or more.
And you were saying this was odd to you, that seeing those bubbles come up, and so it's a rainbowy, almost an oil slick, but then it has that popping effect.
Yeah, when you step on the sediments or throw a rock or a stick in there, it's obvious something's coming out, and then it comes up and it kind of pops almost. It looks like it pops. And it's got a very, very bright, characteristic rainbow patterning. It's different than what you see with, say, oil. I mean, they all have a rainbow sort of patterning, but it's obviously different than that. And when you do that, you get a really strong odor right away. The concern that I think I had originally was, when I was first asked to get involved, is they kind of said, well, everything's okay, but they didn't necessarily measure for a lot of the components, or not very much. And it's well known that vinyl chloride can burn, and part of the combustion products are dioxins, which I hope we don't find them, but if we do, that's no problem. It's one of the most toxic materials. It was one of the key ingredients in Agent Orange.